Hi everybody, thank you for visiting our channel. So we all know that Switzerland is expensive. So why don't we take a deeper look at this? After living here in Zurich for 5 years, we want to share our observations that at least partially contest this notion of an unaffordable destination. In this episode, we will talk about assumptions, what are we comparing to and what things are not included in this discussion, what is not particularly expensive, what is expensive with examples, and how to limit the expensive part. First of all, let's make a statement. Expensive relative to what exactly? So let's just make it relative to the Western European countries, specifically our neighbors, Italy, France, Germany, and Austria. Next, for this episode, we will not talk about things like real estate purchasing or, in general, things that visitors will not be buying, like furniture or kitchen appliances, for instance. It is certainly true that there are a lot of rich people in this country. Can't argue with that. So let's get some things out of the way, which might be surprising. Things like gifts, clothing, pretty much anything you will find in a department store, including groceries, in general are not particularly or maybe not at all more expensive here. You might find some items even cheaper in Switzerland because sales taxes are significantly lower. Even prices for hotels, of course, they could vary depending on the level everywhere, but also I would not say that they are particularly higher here. We stayed in some hotels in the Alps for under 200 francs a night at very decent lodgings. These are today's exchange rates for reference. Note that euro is especially low now and normally runs about 5% more valuable than the Swiss franc. Transport costs, including local transport, are definitely more expensive, but if you put some thought into it, there are many schemes that SBB offers that can lower the cost significantly. We talked about some ideas in our Jungfrau episode. Link is in the description. Now, the interesting part. What is expensive is labor-intensive services. The types of services that do not earn high wages of doctors and lawyers. So, cooking and serving food at restaurants, making cocktails at bars, giving you a haircut or mani-pedi, massages, and things of that nature. For instance, in Zurich, minimum wage is 4,000 francs a month. With this money, an individual can afford to live in a decent place, have enough food to eat, have health insurance, take a vacation, etc. Poverty is not allowed in Switzerland, which is why it's one of the safest places in the world. What you will notice immediately are the prices on the menus of restaurants, from modest canteens to fancy eateries. We will illustrate something in the middle. One is a chain Italian restaurant called Santa Lucia, and a typical Swiss eatery in Old Town called Johanniter. At Santa Lucia, average antipasti salad is 18 francs, main course average is about 38 francs, and average pasta, pizza, risotto is about 22 francs. Plus a drink can easily get you up to 50 francs per person. Similar meal, for instance, in Italy will be half of that. Now let's look at Johanniter. Soup salad is about 10 francs and classic Swiss dish average about 23 francs plus drink, so about 40 francs per person. I would say in general, concentration of restaurant compared to cities like Bangkok or New York in Switzerland is a lot less intense. There are, however, a lot of supermarkets and convenience stores. In this country, supermarkets are not only used by general public where one goes to shop for a week of groceries. Especially in the cities during lunchtime, you will see a lot of people shopping for lunch items such as salads, poke bowls, sushi, sandwiches, roast chicken, and even beef tartare, which I love. There are many choices. It is completely normal to grab lunch at a supermarket instead of eating in a restaurant. It's a lot cheaper and quicker. Two main Swiss supermarket chains you will see all over this country are Migros and Coop. Both offer a decent variety of options for prepared food. Note that Migros, organized as a public cooperative, does not sell any alcohol or cigarettes. Co-op, however, sells everything. Also, both Migros and Co-op run their own restaurants. It doesn't happen at each supermarket, but usually at those that are particularly large in city centers, in the malls, or at main train stations. There are no waiters. It will be more costly than just grabbing a salad at the supermarket, but you get to sit comfortably and the bill will be a lot less than that from a regular restaurant that I mentioned earlier. Both Migros and Co-op also have their own lines of convenience shops, Migrolino and Co-op Pronto, respectively. They're obviously much smaller convenience stores, and both offer all kinds of items from toothpaste to baked goods to wine. There are also supermarket chains like Denner, Lidl, and Aldi, which are considered discount supermarkets. I would say they only offer noticeable discounts for things like raw meat. Otherwise, the price differences are not that noticeable. In fact, before making this video, I did a bit of price comparison on a basket of very common items and found no drastic differences in prices. These discount supermarkets have decent bakery sections. They offer some prepared food options, but choices are not as plentiful as those in Co-op and Migros. If you happen to be seeking a premium supermarket, head to Globus's Delicatessa. Here, everything is pretty organic and more special and more expensive. Sometimes I buy things here like wine or dessert when we are invited to someone's home for a dinner party. The main moral of the story is Switzerland is really only more expensive relative to our neighbors when it comes to eating and drinking out at restaurants and bars. It is very easy, however, to limit these activities and still enjoy this beautiful country without breaking the bank. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode, hit the bell to be notified of future videos, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. See you soon! Tschüss!